Hello, everybody, and welcome to Project Talk, your favorite 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. Chitty Chatty live stream here on the YouTubes. I am Glenn from Mitch3D, and with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, James from Print and Play. And today we have a very special guest, Mitch, also known as Mitch3D on the Twitters, of super fame of BattleBots.
Oh.
Whew. I should have an applause sound or something for that.
Yeah.
So,
You're not that technically advanced to have a soundboard yet, right?
yeah. It's not really the technically advanced because I have soundboards in my Stream Deck. It's that StreamYard doesn't handle it.
Oh.
StreamYard won't pump the desktop audio up. I would just have to play it out loud and then lean my mic into it. And then... So shout out to Sean Butler. He wasn't technically first. James was technically first, but he doesn't count. Plus he put that Frenchie in there. So Sean Butler gets bragging rights today for being the first, even though he didn't say first.
That Glenn, what a rude boy.
So I can go down the list. It'll be really fast. Sean Butler, Alan Osborne, Lars Hansen, Mitch is here. 3D Medic Vince, Nadiv is here, and Glenn Hogue is here. Greetings from rainy Alabama. It is quite lovely weather-wise here in Florida, but it's hot. In fact, I was going to show some Slice Engineering love today, and I sweated right through that shirt and had to change it at the last minute. So know that I still love you guys over there at Slice Engineering, but I couldn't wear your shirt today because it was gross. So how are you guys?
Not so bad, and you?
Yeah, I'm going to be drinking my Coke Zero.
Dr. Pepper just came out with a Dr. Pepper Zero sugar. It's kind of like it basically tastes like Coke sugar.
It's
Coke.
It's diet.
Zero.
Wasn't the big thing about Dr. Pepper supposed to be that the diet one already tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper?
Well, the zero sugar is their diet one. They just call it zero sugar now.
Well, the zero sugar I think is the same with Splenda, but it tastes just like Coke Zero with some Dr. Pepper flavor.
With real
pepper in there.
Yeah, but I have a real Dr. Pepper, but I'm trying to avoid these, but I'm not.
Mark said, wait, what channel is this? Yeah. I've seen these people in so long. Yeah, it's been like a week.
We streamed last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we were here last week.
I was on the couch.
Yeah, you were laid up and I was entertaining. So
how's your back? Is it better?
Last week we had Joel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
I can't follow up with Joel. I guess I'm the next best thing.
Like you said, Joel's our Neil Patrick Harris.
That's right. It's true. Yeah, his live stream with Neil Patrick Harris is the same level of us having Joel. No offense, Mitch. We love having you, man.
Okay.
Mitch,
I'm a fill-in. A stand-in. It's cool.
You're the equivalent of us having that James from Print and Play on the show.
And he's only here because his mom pays me to make him come on here.
Oh, okay then. Apparently she's paying you and Kayleen to be in my life. Good job. My back is improving. It's still not perfect, but
it's definitely improving because you're in a desk chair today. So
yeah, and I only need to cry a little. So
yeah, well, I'm having sympathy pains for you. I stressed my back out yesterday, working in the garage, and then stupid me, I come in and I go to get into bed last night, and I just kind of flopped my way in, and the way my pillows were laying, I hit that thing and jolted my back. Yeah, so I'm still feeling that today, but.
So I have a new project I'm going to show off, which I've already showed to you two. So
you're going to show it now? I would wait.
I mean, why? So more people can click off?
Well, you're supposed to build it up and be like, in a little while, I'm going to show you this new, so that they don't click.
Okay, at the turn of the hour, at 5 o'clock in 22 minutes. But the thing is, I'm planning to do some work on it today, although I guess we can wait for a little bit.
Oh, no, that's all right then.
We can have our preamble.
If you need to show it off, that's all right. I just,
Glenn doesn't have a preamble. He has a pre-ramble.
I have nothing. I have nothing to give. I have nothing to give.
That's okay. Mitch said he's got all sorts of projects he's going to show off. He's going to run the entire show.
He's gonna run that. Oh, he is. All right. Oh, I'm out then. Oh.
Let me. I could carry a camera around maybe, but the problem is none of them are near me.
Oh, Glenn's gone.
Well, it was nice knowing you. Oh, no, I can't do it. It's not what I signed up for.
That would be so much fun. We should invite somebody on the stream, and then like 5 minutes in, we just leave.
You know what? I'm gonna try and convince. Let's see, who should we get back?
Yeah, but the problem is it's my channel.
We'll get Dave Hewlett back. I'm like, hey man, would you like to guest host? And I'll when I talk to him, I'll make everything ambiguous. So when you go back and read it, it does seem like we could potentially have been asking him to like take over the stream for like, hey man, would you be interested in the guest host for Glenn and I? Get him on here and be like, and then like after 5 minutes, be like, okay, well. Again, thank Dave Hewlett.
Yeah,
for,
thanks.
Kind of gonna take off.
Yeah, kind of like that thing where you think people are coming over for dinner, but really they're dropping their kids off.
Yep.
One thing I could show you. I don't know if you have one of these. They're like little pocket oscilloscopes. Seed Studio makes them, and they're like little pocket oscilloscopes, and you plug these probes in. It's kind of hard to see.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
But you put these little like breadboard probes in, and you can get one channel of digital or digital analog information. Like it was really helpful because I was just trying to do something simple like doing an inverter, signal inverter. I was actually able to see the packets of UART like as it was going. I think they're about like $100 on Seed Studio.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I had access to oscilloscopes when I was in school 1,000 years ago.
Yeah,
but not since. Shout out.
I think
to,
a Regal is like a couple $100.
What's that?
I said a Regal. I think the Rigel is like the more affordable of the oscilloscopes, and those are still a couple $100.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, shout out to Mark for throwing down the $10 for the sponsorship so Glenn can roll around in the money on the floor. Well, I was going to do that with my Dogecoin, but...
Did they tank?
It didn't tank, it dipped.
Yeah, so I had the FOMO of last night when it started to tank, and I converted all to Bitcoin thinking like it would be more stable, and then I saw it go back up, and now I'm like... I lost so much money in the transaction.
Hasn't been very stable today.
I know, and so now I transferred it all back to Doge. So I've lost money just in the transaction because they charge fees every time you do it. So it's like you can't really do like day trading like you would normally do,
Yeah, well, I ended up. I don't really. I'll tell you fully later, but I signed up through a service that gave me 30 days of no fees if I use my ATM or debit card to buy. So I've just been buying like crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've been using Coinbase, but you have to wait 5 days.
I own 30 million Dogecoins, but no, not really.
Why are you doing the stream then if you have that much?
That's like $30 million. What is at the peak? I don't know what they're at now, but
56 cents.
So like $15 million.
Yeah, 15 million.
That would be crazy. I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I got, but it's not enough to buy a tool changing E3D tool changer. It's close. Yeah, well,
and then of course I got into it late. I mean, that Mitch, I reached out to you for advice this week. I mean, I just bought into it, and Xander bought $20 into it. So we've both been watching. I mean, as long as it gets to $1,000, I'm okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I legitimately, I cannot find for the life of me my wallet. When Dogecoin first went live, years and years ago, I fired up one of my rigs I was using for mining Bitcoin and switched it to Dogecoin and tossed a bunch into a wallet somewhere because it's like I'll get like, and I forget what the mining rate was, but I feel like I have thousands of them somewhere, and I just don't remember where I stored them or if I stored them because it was kind of like a joke at the time, right?
Well, yeah, but see, that's it. And somebody like Joel had made a comment this week on Twitter about Doge, and then somebody said, "Yeah, imagine how I feel a year ago, I cashed in my 100,000 for a $25 Steam gift card, and it's like 100,000 at that point would have been worth 70 grand. So you don't know. I bought another one that, and I'm gonna have to look to see even what it's called. It's the dog, the Doge dog. Hang on.
The Shiba. Oh.
Yeah, it's SHIB. SHIB is its symbol. Shiba Inu.
Inu, yeah.
But it's at something ridiculous, like 10,000th of a penny. And so I bought 200,000 shares of that for like $2.82 or something crazy. And I just, like, my wife and I were joking around about it, and like I put it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy those, and so I bought them. Think about it, if that went to 50 cents, it'd be worth 100 grand.
Well, it's a very low gamble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $3. Who cares?
Yeah, but the money has to go somewhere. It's somebody's buying. If everybody's buying into it, your money is worth everybody's money. Like
right.
It's not like you're minting money from US dollars from, it's not fraud. It's just
right. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, I kind of went into the whole thing as a kind of like when you go to the casino. You don't ever enter the casino with more money in your pocket than you plan to leave there. And I kind of took it that same way, and it's been a fun roller coaster because it dips and you're like, oh my god! But then if you really look at it, it's pennies. I mean, it's only going up and down like at the most 30 cents.
Yep.
Who cares? So it's good. It's good fun. So I own a little bit of Bitcoin. Bought a little bit of Bitcoin, like 0.000000. Like I can kind of see it off in the distance, but not really, And then I have a little Ethereum and a little Ethereum Classic. I have my Doge, and now I have that Shiba Inu. I look rich when I look at my 200,000 SHIBs.
I have left over from my Bitcoin. I think I've probably talked about it on stream before, but I did start mining Bitcoin at a time when it was still realistic to mine on your own. And I bought one of the first Butterfly Lab ASICs that they released. Butterfly Labs ended up going out of business because they couldn't produce them as fast as they sold them, and they ended up in arrears and stuff. So I ended up getting one, and like there's all these articles on the internet now that claim that they never released any of them, that nobody ever got one. And it was a 4.5 gigahash model back when like people are still using GPUs to mine at like a couple hundred megahashes or whatever.
Wow.
So I mined a bunch and then sold it when it was only worth like $1,200 a pop. But I kept some, so I have about $8,500 Canadian worth right now.
That's pretty good.
Well, considering my original investment for the Bitcoin mining hardware was like $250. It's pretty
good.
Wow.
Well, and the thing is like just forget about it. Just forget about it. I mean, even if it, a year from now tanked and went to nothing and you lost all that, you'd be like, man, I lost $8,500, but you didn't really, and instead a year from now it's worth, 200,000 a coin. You're rolling in it.
It's tripled.
So Joshua Clemens is asking a very important question. And that is, have I gone to the new White Castle down by me yet? And the answer to that question is no. And there's a reason for it, because you can't get near the place. The day that it opened, people were in line at 2:00 in the morning the night before. And it was like a 4-hour wait to get in there and get the White Castles.
I mean, White Castle, is it that good?
What's that?
Is it that good? Like, I mean, I've had White Castle and I like it. Especially it's better.
It's not wait for 4 hours to buy.
No, it's not.
No.
Like, I'd rather wait 4 hours for a graphics card right now than wait for.
You wish you could just wait for 4 hours and get a graphics card.
Well, you can at Micro Center. They can, but I know in different regions you can't. But like, I'm friends of mine that hang out there, and it's like 5 hours in line in the morning at like 3 a.m. They line up at Micro Center and hope that they get a graphics card at retail value.
Wow.
So they're still paying for it, and they're paying retail value for it, but they still have to wait 5 hours to get it.
Yeah, it's still better than paying the scalpers right now.
It's crazy. I looked it up. Like, I can't even get... Even Micro Center is sold out of computers that have graphics cards in them, and they're still sold out because people have found out that you could just buy the computer and then take the graphics card out of it, sell the computer part, and make your money back. Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, I just read an article, and I don't even remember who the company is that makes it, but it's like this really tiny little computer and stuff, but it's got a really high-end graphics card in it, and that's exactly what people are doing. They're buying it. The whole unit is cheaper than buying just the graphics card, and they're buying it and then selling off the rest of it. So John Mack slides in and says hello to Mitch, and then there's a delay, and then he finally says hello to James and I. So hello, John Mack.
Hey, John Mack.
Lars says, is it faster to drive to another White Castle? My next closest one is 10 hours in the other direction.
So no.
10 hours I'd be in London, Kentucky, and that is the White Castle that I stop at. The very first stop that we make when we leave here to go to Murph, we stop and eat at that White Castle. So
my closest one is in Joplin, Missouri. I'd have to drive past Oklahoma, like at least
Oklahoma, where the wind blows. How's that song go?
Like the musical Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I
don't know. Yeah, Uncle Ron brought me down a crave case the last time that he was down. And then not long after, I had the freezer White Castles, and they are absolutely, positively not the same.
No, they're not.
In fact, I still have freezer ones in my freezer right now because, like, it was so disappointing to eat the freezer ones that close after having real ones. And that's real ones that rode in a car all the way from New York before they got here. So
they weren't necessarily in the best shape either.
No, I think Uncle Ron sat on them. I think he used them like a booster seat because he's real short, you know.
That's how they kept him warm.
Yeah, he's not really a tall guy. He looks tall when you see him, but he's not. He's
I bought myself a fancy new screwdriver. It's electric.
Oh, is that the one that it's the electric one? What's it called?
The Wild Stick. I don't know. It's not great. So you can use it just like a regular screwdriver anyways. Like you don't have to be using the power part of it because it doesn't have a ton of torque.
Oh, yeah.
So
they use the N20 motors, which are the common like gear motors that most people use in like the little combat robots.
Yep.
They're like the little toy motors, but yeah, those are like really common. They're called N20s. And I thought about like you can make your own pretty much. It would be kind of cool to do. It's the clutch thing that they use to be able to turn it manually and then have it turn. That's like a special way, like a one-way clutch. It's pretty cool.
It's been good so far.
Oh no!
Hope you didn't need that.
It was I have a speaker bar underneath my monitor, and it just fell off for some reason. I have no idea.
Oh.
It was like a $20 like Future Shop brand insignia or whatever they call them. Anyways, it's ended up saving me a lot of risk.
Future Shop is Best Buy for those of us here in America.
Actually, Future Shop isn't even a thing anymore now.
Really?
But I did buy that at Future Shop when Future Shop was a thing. It was funny.
Now it's a Pass Shop.
What?
Now it's the Pass Shop.
Now it's the Pass Shop. Apparently, they didn't like what the Future had in store. But yeah, it was funny because Future Shop and Best Buy are legitimately the same company, and we had both in Canada, often in the same parking lot. My wife worked at a Future Shop, and she would often hear people like arguing with sales associates, and then going, "Well, you know, I'm just going to go and buy it at Best Buy." And they're like, "Okay, have fun."
Put the money.
I'm not going to put the money in your left pocket. I'm going to put it in your right pocket.
Yeah,
that'll teach you. Anyways, this has been super helpful because like working on stuff, once you break the screw free or whatever, then you just push the button. It's got enough torque to take it the rest of the way out. So you end up, at first I was like, oh, this isn't going to be very good, but it's definitely saved my wrist so far.
Yeah, that's why I have a problem with Allen keys, like trying to grip an Allen key. Like I get carpal tunnel from that too. The biggest thing that saved me is ratchet. Like if you get a ratchet that does an Allen head, like hex head, metric hex head key for a wrench, that's the best. or the Milwaukee screwdriver gun has saved me a ton. That's my favorite tool.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I just saw
Nothing but
John
the
Mack
wall
asked,
for me.
I saw John Mack asked about Murph. I will not be at Murph this year.
Yeah, I was gonna pull that up, but you guys wouldn't stop talking. So yeah, John Mack asked, "Are we going to Murph?" I'm assuming that meant going, not doing to Murph. But I had no intentions on going to Murph. But there is a certain somebody in this world that's trying to talk me into flying into New York.
Oh,
And
geez.
then-
Well, now we know who it is.
And then riding from New York over to
Is that your uncle?
over to Murph. What's that?
Is that your uncle trying to convince you to do
Yeah,
that?
it's my uncle trying to convince me. But I haven't made that decision yet. I told him I would think about it, but I just don't know if I'm ready to be around people yet. They have a new thing now. It's called the COVID anxiety syndrome, and it's for people who are they're just not ready to go back into society yet. Which I wasn't ready to go into society before COVID.
Yeah.
So like I had that
Yeah.
before it was cool.
You know, what's funny is like the more I've been able to do streams like this and Discord, and I just hang out with friends all day on Discord. It's almost like I don't really want to go back to having in-person
Xander
parties.
is exactly the same way. Like all his friends are online.
All his
Yeah.
friends,
What's that?
all his friends are online.
All his friends are online. Yeah, he's not in here. You can talk bad about him, and it won't.
I had a weird interaction. I've been meaning to talk to him about it. I was using my VR, so I've got the Oculus controllers, and when I move them, my arms move in game, and from what I can tell, that's not supposed to happen.
Listen,
I was going to ask Xander.
that's a really touchy subject with him. I'll update it.
Did he tell you? I forget what night it was. He was live
Yes,
streaming his buddies.
yes,
and popped in.
absolutely. He told me. Yeah, I'm gonna go now because I'm gonna use my VR. That works. Yeah. So I want to shout out because Paul Cumber is in here. I have not seen Paul in one of our streams in quite some time. So hello, Paul Cumber. John Mack, yes, it is absolutely Uncle Ron. So,
And I will tell my wife Happy Mother's Day.
I don't speak to my wife ever. I'm like, don't talk to me, woman.
I'll tell your wife Happy Mother's Day then.
So I finally got hold of Oculus, and so I'm man enough to admit when the problem might have been my fault.
Oh, really?
Every time that we ran a support ticket for Oculus, we did it through Xander's email account.
Yep.
And never got anything back from them. Not even a confirmation. So the third one I sent in, I did it through my email account, and I got a response. It took a little bit to come back. But as soon as I submitted the third ticket, I noticed that there was a chat window thing. And so I pulled that up and got somebody into chat, and they were like, well, what is your ticket number? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never gotten a ticket number. And then all of a sudden the email came in, and I'm like, now, wait a minute, I got a ticket number this time. But they were able to go back and find the original ticket from now 6 weeks ago, and which had just a plethora of information in it. Like I wrote a novel on everything that we had already tried. So they had me. I was in chat session for 2 hours trying things to get it to work. In fact, you remember last week? It was on Sunday night. Last week we dumped out so Xander could stream. I made Xander dump his stream so that I could diagnose his Oculus. But we went through it, and then they finally said to me, we're going to have to move this troubleshooting session to email. We need some time to figure out what the next steps are. They ended up emailing me back like an hour later with some things to try, but by then I had already gone to bed. And so I did it the next morning, still didn't fix it. Then I wrote them back, didn't fix it, same problem. I won't tell you about the horrendous problems that I had with the tech support agent. We'll just let that slide. But the email that I got back was from a different tech support, and they said that they were just going to replace it. So now I'm waiting on a prepaid mailing label, which should have actually already been here. So I got to shake them again.
Are they replacing the whole unit or just the controllers?
They're having me send back the visor and the cable. not the controller. They feel that that's the issue. So,
Okay.
That's what I was saying last week, is that would make more sense, because what are the chances of breaking both controllers in the exact same way?
well, not only that, but your suggestion of hooking it up to the old computer.
Yeah.
So right after the stream, I put his old computer here, which I didn't move until 2 minutes before we went live. And we hooked it up, and it did exactly the same thing on that computer. So that ruled out it being a computer issue. But I mean, they had me like take the cable out and inspect the ends of the cable to make sure that there was no damage to it. They had me, I don't know, just like a whole bunch of stuff, and it was stuff that I had already done and whatever. But, we went through it all, and they kept having me send in the capture the log, send in the log. And then the suggestion that they had given me for the email that they had sent late that night was to go in and turn on the beta channel and download the most recent update through the beta software. But that didn't fix it either. I was 99% sure it was not software related, because it didn't work on the other computer either.
They just have check boxes they need to fill up, which I know drives the more technically adept people. But like the thing is too, is like when I did tech support for Time Warner New York, I get people that would call in and be like, okay, we just need to go through some troubleshooting. I've already done it all. Okay, well, before I can send a technician and guarantee that you're not going to get charged for it, I have to do this. Well, just mark it off. I've already done all this stuff. Like, can you please just humor me?
Yeah,
don't make my job any harder. I know that you hate having to go through the steps, or you think that you know better than me. But there were still honestly times, like probably 3 or 4 out of 10, where we'd go through the stuff and they're like, yeah, I've already done that. And then you hit a step and they'd be like, well, why am I doing that? And I'm like, well, because it does this. So like with the converter boxes, for example, like, we need you to unplug it and then hold the power button. And it was like, hold the power button for 30 seconds. It really doesn't need to be that long, but it's, discharging capacitors and stuff like that. There's stuff that hold the charge longer. Well, why would I have to do that?
Yeah, which means they didn't do it.
Yeah. But then you'd bring it back up and it would work. And now, can I guarantee it was going to work permanently afterwards, or there might be issues later on? No, I didn't go back and like reread them 2 weeks later to find out if it continued to work. But
yeah. No, I usually start all of my, like if I call in and have to talk to tech support, I usually start all of those calls with, listen, I have been in IT since the very early 90s, so you don't have to talk to me like an idiot. Just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll just do it. Don't say, well, click start, click on control panel. Just tell me what you want me to do, and then we can get through this as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I did all the IT help desk stuff. It was like that, but I mean, they have you read a script, and
it's a flow chart.
Yep. So, and the problem is if you get to that point and then like you have to take it up the ladder to like tier 2 or whatever. Sometimes of how it was set up, it's just like, well, we'll get back to you in 1 to 2 days, and they're like, well, I don't have 1 to 2 days. So like, there you go. There's my escalation path. And it's like, what can you do?
Yeah, Comcast here locally. I was working through some issues with them for my business connection for my work, and somewhere through the process, they ended up giving me a direct number to tier 2 support. So I stopped calling the regular number and just started calling directly into that. And then I think they figured it out, because now that number doesn't work anymore.
Specifically because of you?
Maybe. Or maybe that tier 1 guy kept giving that number out too much.
Yeah.
They fixed it.
Yeah, well, I was having a connection issue with them one time, and I called them up, and they're like, well, we need you to reset your modem and stuff. And I said, listen, this is going to sound like way out of whack. It's not my modem. It's your router somewhere upstream. And I'm like, this is the IP of the router that's failing and stuff. And I'm like, can you ping it from where you are? Can you run a trace route on it? And he's like, I don't have access to any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, tier 1, they only train them enough to do the basics, and they don't give them the permission to fix the problem.
Give the suggestions, tick yes or no.
And that was the thing too, is that because we had tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and like I got in trouble because I would go above what I was supposed to do as a tier 1 because I also was technical. And they were like, you can't do that because the next person they talk to isn't going to have that knowledge, and then we end up looking bad. So it's not that you basically set a standard of whatever you're doing is what everybody should be able to do. So stick with the checklist and don't go anywhere above. Which used to drive me nuts because I'm like, I can have this guy back up and running in like 30 seconds, but instead he's going to spend 20 minutes on hold waiting for tier 2 to pick up. Yeah. And then they're just going to be like, da, 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 and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Customer's always wrong.
So what you got to do is you got to go like, hang on for me one moment, sir. I'm going to get a tier 2 tech over here. And then you like,
hello,
this is James. I'm tier 2 tech support.
Same name, no relation.
I know.
Everybody here's name is James.
Or you just go by Jim.
Jim.
Yeah. And then I think if you ever like, what's cool about our community is like the support. We pretty much everybody knows everybody in a support role at some company in the US for 3D printing.
Yeah.
So like, but like, I'm sure those people don't really appreciate us like PMing them about all our problems either. So
too bad.
Well, I mean, to be fair, generally those people don't like me PMing them for any reason. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I've really never had to deal with. I've only had to deal with like the Shenzhen like Chinese support for like printers like once or twice because I don't have a lot of them. Actually, all the ones I've had I ended up giving away because they're usually basic printers. But those support people are pretty good. But they message you on Facebook, like Facebook Messenger is all the people I've talked to, and I'm like, this just doesn't seem like the way to go. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Or they have you like, to get, I found that $100 resin printer I got. I emailed the company because they don't have it on their website. I was trying to find the actual LCD screen. And so I was actually able to get support back, but they want me to PayPal money to this like qq.com address. So I'm like, I'll do it if it's a little bit because PayPal usually has buyer protection, but like, it's the only way I can get that LCD screen for this $100 printer. And it might be worth it because it's still, I've still paid less than I had paid for LED Mars. But it's been an amazing like printer. I've been able to do like, I don't know, 20, 30 prints so far with no failures.
Nice.
On it. I've done a Soraya Tech Blue and I've gotten like perfect, like really good results out of it. It just takes forever. So.
Shout out to David Randolph from Printed Solid. Can't let Builders Mark sponsor the whole show. No, nobody should be sponsoring more than about 5 minutes, people. Every time a new sponsor pops in, please set your watches and somebody step up and be next. No, I did actually do some 3D printing this week, which was pretty exciting, and it was good enough that I will have a video coming out on it. And the only thing I will say is it's GoPro related. So I'm going to release the files to the Thingiverse, and unless it's Coke Zero. Well, no, I mean that depends on how much Coke Zero lays down, but.
Now I could get Dr. Pepper Cadbury to sponsor, maybe.
Do what?
Maybe I could get Dr. Pepper to sponsor. Yeah, so the GoPro, the Hero 8 actually has these like flip down mounts on them, and I think it's waterproof, but because you don't need a case on the newer ones. But like it's kind of cool. It has these like flip down.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah. So, because I had a Hero 3, and then they had this promotion where you could get money off, but it didn't actually end up being a good deal. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So you don't actually need to print the case anymore.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I bought a Hero 3 Silver, and then and I bought it through eBay. It was used, but it was in very pristine condition. And then I bought a Hero 3 Black for like $45. And it came in and it was brand new. It still had the OEM cellophane on it. Wow. It was brand new. So that was pretty awesome. So
yeah. So mine actually started to brick after I don't know if it was the battery or not because I bought new batteries. and it still was bricked. And it was something to do, like, it was weird. Like, I could get it to work sometimes. I had to do all the hardware resets and all that stuff, and it just would not turn on after a while. And so I pretty much forced me to get this one because I could get the $100 off the purchase of a new one, which again didn't really matter because then they came out with the GoPro 9 right immediately after I bought it. So
they love to do that.
And I bought a knockoff one, but like it works great. It's just the you can tell the sensor isn't as good, and the knockoff ones are pretty good for $40. The other issue with those is that the one I bought is that the on-screen display over HDMI, you can't disable the on-screen display. If I tried to use a HDMI capture card to get live video, which is what I was trying to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever even tried this one. I got from Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron gave me this one. It's a Activion. And what I like about this one is it does have a screen on the back of it, and the Hero 3 doesn't. You got to pay another $40 to get a screen for it.
Yeah.
But what I did was I took an old tablet that I have and an old phone that I have, and I downloaded their app, and I just tie it. It's a little bit laggy, but it's enough to know what you're pointing at. So
I've also tried to do RTSP streaming from this because you can use an RTMP stream server and then stream from here over it, but it's not worth it. And then to get HDMI, it only has a USB Type-C connector, so you have to buy there's a little shield that goes around it that has an HDMI output to get capture of data. So it's like I might as well just buy a Raspberry Pi and have an HDMI camera out of it,
On the Hero 3, to use an external microphone, you got to buy a dongle for it, and it's like, really?
Yeah. That's how they get you. I mean, sometimes it almost is better to get the knockoff ones for the feature set.
Yeah, well, we're going to the direction that Fun King Garage is going. It's a brand new channel. We're already changing directions, but the direction that it's going, it will be filmed primarily through GoPro. And our audio will be recorded separately into a PC. So it's going to be fun. We just haven't had the time to really do anything. There's been a lot going on. Yesterday, I spent the first 3 hours of my day playing Appliance Repairman because my dishwasher crapped again. So never buy Electrolux or Frigidaire appliances. Look me right in. I'm telling you. Mark my words. Never.
Why are you blaming Mark for that?
What's that?
Why are you blaming Mark for that?
Am I blaming Mark? Oh, Mark, my word, I got you. Yeah.
Oh. So is it not something you can fix, or?
Oh yeah, no. It's I fixed it. It turned out to be this problem turned out to be pretty petty, but it also turned out to be a manufacturing defect. It stopped working, and the code that it was throwing was that it detected a leak. There's a pan on the bottom of that thing that's got a leak sensor in it. So I pulled it out, and sure enough, there was water in that pan. Well, what happened was the the pump that pumps the water out of the dishwasher when it's done and runs it up to the disposal, it had a stub on it about this long, and when they put the hose on, they put the clamp right on the end of that. And I suppose from vibration over time, it eventually worked off of that, and it popped the whole hose off. So, and it could have been a much bigger mess than it was. I don't know if it was majorly drained at that point, but I mean, it was still 3 hours of disassembling the kitchen and pulling that thing out and, carefully getting it outside before I dumped water all over my hardwood floors. They're not really hardwood. They're laminate.
Yeah. Sometimes the laminate floors are pretty good though with water.
Mark said, thought he was going to say he took the first 3 hours of the day rolling in money on the floor. No, instead I was wallowing in self-pity. No, but okay, so we bought a double wall oven, a cooktop, a microwave, a dishwasher, and a refrigerator, all Electrolux, which is owned and made by Frigidaire. And so far, the cooktop is the only thing that didn't have a problem. And I say that, knock on fake wood, because I don't want that thing to go next. But
so it's the only thing with a solid state. Only thing with a solid state, it doesn't have any moving parts, right?
Well, it's an induction, so there's no telling what it'll do next.
Yeah.
That's that cooktop that'll boil water in 90 seconds.
That would be nice.
It's crazy. It's great.
I can't stand electric
when we
ones.
first moved into the house, that was like one of the, like when we were showing people the house, we'd be like, oh, check this out. We'd get a pot of water out and we would boil water for people because it was so fast.
It's more efficient too. Like I'd rather have gas, but like you can't have gas in the apartments here, probably for reliability. But the gas cooktops are so much better.
Yeah, they don't want you killing a whole bunch of people.
It's fine. Got renter's insurance.
As long as you're on the top floor. I mean,
no, I'm in the third floor. I'm in the worst area for any of this stuff. And I've already set up the fire alarm many times. So.
Yeah, but I mean, with gas, if you're on the top floor, because the gas is heavy, so it'll just roll down through the building.
Nah, it's fine. We'll just open the window. It's cool.
Yeah, unless it piles all up in the bottom and then it gets ignited, and then you're the next SpaceX rocket.
Yeah, apartment fires are unfortunately a thing here too. Like these ones from the 60s and 70s that haven't been renovated.
And Mark, just so you know, if I was going to take 3 hours and roll around in all my money on the floor, it would be very painful because I'd have to do it in pennies to have any significant amount of it on the floor.
You can roll in your Dogecoin, which would just
that's right. Well, and again, right now I'm rolling in my self-pity. I mean, it's at the point where, like, when I bought it, at least when I bought the first bit of it, that's where it's sitting right now. And then Xander bought. When we bought Xander's, it was at like 60 cents or 62 cents. So he's actually at a loss right now. But I told him that, because he's not old enough to buy it on his own. So I said, look, I'll just buy it, and then we won't try to figure it out. Just whatever it does, it does. Yeah. And then I did buy a little bit more in the dip.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think it's at 57. I'm watching one that's at 55. So I'm getting different data from my exchanges. But right now I think Binance is what I'm using, and they have a per second one. I think it's like 55.98. So
yeah, crypto is showing it right at 57 flat.
Really? Why is Binance off then? Oh, it's probably a few minutes off then.
Yeah, well, I was also watching goldprices.org for a while too, and that one seems to be a little bit more realistic.
I want a backyard that I could bury my hardware wallet, like just to get the get the feel of burying gold. That's
all
pretty
right,
much what we're
just
doing.
Mail it to me, and I'll bury it in my backyard for you, Mitch.
I don't know if it would work after that. I don't know. It's a pretty secure wallet. It's still made out of plastic. I mean, it's gonna be ruined somehow. But
yeah,
I like having the hardware wallet because it lets you confirm all the transactions are confirmed on the actual device, so nothing's actually done. All the private keys are on the device, not in software.
Yeah,
or on Exchange.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into all of that. To be honest, everything is still just sitting on the exchange. But again, if it disappeared, I'm not out
That's
much.
true, yeah.
I would punch myself in the face for being an idiot, but
I'm not losing any more than I would just buying a printer from Amazon. So
yeah, I didn't like mortgage my house or something stupid like that. But
also, don't punch yourself in the face if it happens. Charge other people to punch you in the face so you get the money back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good plan.
He's making a note, like.
Yeah. Let's see. Have other people punch you in the face. Yeah. No, I was just looking to see what everything else is doing. Bitcoin is still.
Bitcoin's like 57, right? 58.
58,198 is what I've got.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple times over the last few days. It was just on the heels of 60,000, and it's like, wow. I own such a small amount of Bitcoin, though. I mean, like laughable amount of Bitcoin. Because again,
it might make a big difference one day.
Well, I just started this. I mean, I reached out to Mitch this week, and I'm like, where are you buying from? Because that was the thing that kind of made me hesitant. There's so many scams out there, and stuff. And I just wanted somebody to tell me, like, this is where I've bought it. And then, kudos to Mitch for helping me out. But where he was buying it had ridiculous fees. So I ended up buying it somewhere else. But,
Coinbase has been my go-to, but there's also a Bitcoin ATM like less than a mile from me.
Yeah.
And that has kind of high fees, but like the big thing about that is you can immediately get the Bitcoin from cash. So if you just get cash out of an ATM, put it in there, then you get the Bitcoin immediately, like within 10 minutes to your wallet.
Yeah, well, Coinbase doesn't do Doge yet, which
they don't. Yeah.
If they pick that up, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't want to pay $10 per transaction. That's the part that was really.
And the problem last night was that I guess Robinhood couldn't keep up with the Doge transactions, and I think that's what tanked it. I think maybe I'm not sure exactly what happened, but
there's no.
I know people like buying through Robinhood and then realizing that Robinhood isn't like you're actually buying crypto. You're buying, like fake crypto. I don't know how it actually works, but
you're buying the right to the crypto.
Yeah, you're buying it like you would buy a share, where you're buying the right to the share instead of the share itself.
Yeah.
And that's how they make the money.
I gotta find it. Okay, I'm gonna share this publicly, and I don't want a whole bunch of you guys all of a sudden reaching out to me and being like, "Hey, can you share in your wealth with me?" Like, don't give me your sob stories trying to get in on my money. But I own 0.000400961 Bitcoin.
I own 0.1214 something.
I bought like $20 worth is what I did, and it's now worth like $23. So like
we have a new sponsor, by the way.
Builders Mark said this one is for James, also knocking David off the sponsorship stool for a few minutes.
No, don't fight over us, boys. Just kidding, fight over us.
Yes, please continue to fight because we like that. Thank you, Mark. It's greatly appreciated.
Donate all your unused Bitcoin to Glenn at whatever his address is.
Yeah, I don't even know what my address is. I mean, I know what my email address is, but I don't know what my wallet deposit number is.
I wouldn't like publicly share your address, even though I think people do. Like, I still think it's.
You get one that can only be used for deposit. Like, you can't do anything else with it, and then you have the other ones where you can.
But I think they can look you up on the blockchain too and see all your transactions.
That's true.
Yeah. But, wow, 1.8 Bitcoin. That's crazy.
Woo! Look at Glenn Hogue flexing.
Yeah,
man, that's pretty awesome. I hope that you got into it very early on. I don't know if I ever told that story, but about 6 or 7 years ago, we were at a Cub Scout camping trip, and one of the dads had kind of cornered me and was talking about Bitcoin, and I didn't really know anything about it, but he knew I was technical, and he's like, I'm really getting into it, and you should get into it too. And he goes, it's up to $600 a coin now. And I'm like, I can't afford $600. I had no idea you didn't have to buy a whole coin, but I'm like, I don't have $600 to buy this virtual money, like this. And I just totally poo-pooed it and blew it off. And, now
I hate myself. I just realized that at 20 after, it's now 20 after 5. I was supposed to show my project off at 5. So.
Yeah, we're an hour.
But nobody asked. So, I've been working on new hardware for a new video this week, and this is it.
Here, let me full screen you.
So it's a Raspberry Pi case. On the side here is a unfull screen to me again.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get it to the one where you're full screen, but then Mitch and I are off to the side because we want to be cool too. But
that's fine.
Maybe it's this one. Oh, it's that one. That was me. Okay, there we go.
So I've got an OLED display that displays the IP address of the Pi, the current temperature and CPU usage, memory usage and storage usage, and then I've got like progress bar style thingamajigs that just give you a visual representation. So then there's a mesh in the front with a couple of RGB LEDs lit up there. I don't know what a Zydax case is. I'm assuming a computer case.
So is that a 3D printed mesh on the front?
No, I ended up using a filter mask for a 140 millimeter fan and cut it out.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
When I was trying to print it, it just didn't give me quite the look I wanted. So I think it was like $10 for 10 of them. So, and then we got a plexiglass window on the side that shows off the LTT style wiring where all the wires are tucked in behind everything. And then when we swing it around the back, it'll fit a Pi 3 or a Pi 4. So I did create an actual I/O shield for each of them. So
that's cool.
And I figured hopefully if, the Pi 5 comes out, they stick with the same type of form factor, then it's literally just reprinting that one piece. And then there is a custom circuit board that I ordered through PCBWay. Sorry, the mirror thing is. So it relocates your USB ports to the back. And it also gives you additional 5-volt power for the additional fan. So everything can be, nothing's like permanent. Everything can be disconnected. So if you need to replace the power, just unplug the old one, plug the new one in, and you're done.
So now let me ask you, if are you going to release this, first of all?
In some fashion, absolutely.
Okay.
I haven't decided which route it's going to go in terms of...
Okay, well, I mean, regardless of which way it goes,
Yeah.
If and when you release it, is there an easy option for others to get that board made by PCBWay?
So I'm going to release the design files for the PCB as well, and then you can go to PCBWay, and your first order with them is free. So you pay whatever the shipping is. They have this slow shipping that it takes 2 weeks or whatever, or like up to 2 months for the super slow, and then higher paid options. But
yeah, because it only takes them like 2 days to make the board. It's very quick.
Yeah, I ordered those ones on a Friday, and they'd shipped out on the Sunday, and I had them by the end of the week through DHL.
That's
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, and every order you do, you get 5 of them. So I've got remaining ones that I'll use I'll probably end up building a few of these myself and trying to sell them through my the online shop or whatever. Like
I was going to say, even if you just sold the board.
Oh, so it's not it's a breakout, as in like it doesn't have its own USB hub chip on it.
Right. So the original design I had worked on, and I had ordered some surface mount because that's the thing is for a USB hub, a USB hub is basically just a surface mount chip, and then so it's got input, and then it's got however many outputs for additional USB devices. But I was more concerned about the fact that it was going to require additional power for the hub that I was going to build as well. So it's going to end up becoming higher power consumption for all that stuff. So then you potentially would have to move to a higher power USB-C brick for it. Yeah. So and there wasn't a huge advantage to doing it that way since the ports are located at the bottom and aren't really usable as they are now. So it would save you some wiring, but make the soldering more complicated. So like a board like this, all the solder points are like 2.54 millimeter pitch. So it's a perfect sort of getting started soldering project. There's no super close together connection points or anything like that.
Oh, you're not using the GPIO. You're using the actual connection points for the USB stack on it?
I actually went even simpler than that because I'm trying to make it as easy to reproduce as possible. So I ordered some, I don't know where the bag of them is now. Yeah, these guys. Here. So it takes the board takes 5 volts and ground from the GPIO, and it connects that as the power to all of the USB ports because it's all running off the same 5-volt rail anyways. And then for the pass-through cable, sorry, I'm having trouble getting this part. I just got some of these guys. So you've got soldering headers on one side for connection, and then it's USB on the other side. So I just run the data minus and data plus through some standard DuPont patch cables. And by using the power and ground as a common point for both the additional fan connections and the USB, you only have to run 2 wires per USB port instead of 4. So you're not going to be able to like run an external hard drive that doesn't have external power off of the ports, obviously, but my experience is that even if you're using an SSD, you can't do that right now anyway. So
Yeah, Lars asked it, wouldn't it be easier to crack open a USB hub and use the PCB, except for you don't know if the PC board is going to be able to fit in there.
So the original version I did. No, I actually don't know where it is.
And then that would still go back to needing more power.
Yeah, you also couldn't guarantee that you could get that same hub,
Yeah, every time, again and again and again.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find, I think it's right here. And the great minds think alike, and that was part of it. This is the back of the original one that I was working on. And it was done with a StarTech USB hub.
StarTech USB hub? Oh.
So the idea was
Amazon special.
Yeah, exactly. It was, it's a USB 2.0 port, but the idea is that it relocates your keyboard and mouse and stuff like that. But my biggest concern ended up being that this may not be easily purchasable in the future.
Yeah, here's not available tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend that is making a Kubernetes Pi cluster with like, I don't know, 6 Pis or something, Pi 4s. And I guess Kubernetes is like some kind of like Docker style like containerizer thing. I don't understand it at all, but it looked cool from whatever he was doing. He was making custom like radiators or heat sinks and stuff for it. So it's cool to see like people clustering, Pi 4s and like I guess they're powerful enough you can do something functional with them or just to play with them. I use mine for camera streaming stuff, but like I haven't really done much more than that. Like people use them as desktops still. I don't know. Or the Pi keyboard's pretty cool. I would like one of those. The Pi 400.
Mine's sitting over there. I had big plans for it, and they got canceled.
Yeah, I've been in I've joined the CyberDeck Discord community and stuff, and it's really cool to see what people are building, and they just do all kinds of systems and keyboards and displays and stuff, and I would love to deal with that stuff. I have a what is this called, the WaveShare what is this, the WaveShare e-paper display. It's a 5.8 inch 640 by 480 e-paper display, and I think that would be amazing, like a really good console or like data display, like if it could just display like, I don't know, cryptocurrency stats or like my notifications or messages and stuff, like as opposed to using like an LCD monitor or whatever.
There's a guy on YouTube. He does most of his streaming on Twitch, but he has a YouTube channel as well. His channel is IQ Workshop, and he's been working on a Stream Deck using a e-ink display. That's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's what I actually bought this for, and actually I'm going to find it. Yeah, I bought that to actually do that, but I'm trying to use the PyPico, and there hasn't really been a library for this specific display. I know the CircuitPython, I'm sure there is a library for certain e-paper displays, but the 5-inch one, I couldn't find one natively to work with it, but it works over SPI. It would be cool to get the PyPico to work with it, but I might actually just try the standard, Raspberry Pi Zero configuration for it.
Well, you can play with it there and get it up and running, and then you can port the code probably relatively easily working.
Yeah, with Python instead of having to do some crazy stuff. But it has to have I guess the buffers. You have to have enough memory on the microcontroller to send all the data for the frame at once. So it has to have enough to store at least one frame of data, I guess.
Yep.
And then it has to refresh. It does this weird cycling
between. Yeah, I think it usually has 2 buffers, and you've got one that you're working on, one that's being displayed, and that way one's always full and displayed, and the other one, I don't know. Yeah,
e-paper is really interesting and how it works, and it has to do some alternating voltage thing to switch the pixels over and stuff. It's really cool. And now they got full color ones, or multicolor ones that are really, really cool to look at. I don't know. But I just think that there's more uses for e-paper that it hasn't been explored yet. So more people working on projects like that is even better.
Yep.
And then OLEDs are still pretty cool, like what you used for years for. It's just like such a cheap display that it can just be a dedicated display for like very minimal amounts of information. Like we're getting to the point where you don't have to invest so much in the display part of it, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I think I paid like $1 or $2 a piece for them. They're not.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have a bunch of the ones I showed you that I could never get working. I still can't get them working.
I ended up getting one of those working with the. Well, we already had this discussion.
The Pico, yeah, the Pico. Yeah. So I bought a brand of it, and what I'm thinking is happening is that it's actually not a SSD 1306. It's like a different chipset.
Yeah, because there's actually another chip that's like the SSH 1306.
Yeah,
and
it's the size of my thumbnail though. That's how small this stuff is.
Yeah, it's the
crazy how small.
0.49 inch.
64 by 32 pixel. Yeah, 0.49 inch or 14 millimeters, which is just, to me, that's crazy. Like you could put that on like, I don't even know what you would, like the microcontroller and the battery would be bigger than the display.
Yeah.
At that point. Because that's what I'm trying to do is like really miniature stuff. But it's like, at that point, you're getting like microscopes out and you're doing little magnet wires, you know, things to solder anything. And if I wanted to get a PCB made, I would have to like engineer it with multiple layers and it gets real complicated. So if I could breadboard it out first and then figure it out, I would imagine it would translate to where I could get it to a small footprint.
Yep.
So, yep. Us that can solder little surface mount things. It's a good skill to have.
Soldering is always a good skill to have.
Yeah, it is. So, Glenn, have you had to do any electronic stuff on your car? Like, it seems like most car stuff you could just re-splice a connector and.
Yeah, I mean anything that's actually electronic work, you can't even get into anymore.
It's all potted and stuff.
Yeah, they epoxy over everything, but no, it's and you know, like I'm so old school with stuff like that. Like I've just now gotten to the point where I'm hooking a laptop into the vehicles. Like
you look so cool, like doing that with a Nissan. You're like laptop in the seat, like I'm gonna be like Fast and the Furious, like you know, tuning my car.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that one doesn't really make any changes. That's not like any type of tuning software. It just gives you gauges that you can't see, and that software is actually, it's. I don't want to use the term a ripoff. It is a clone of the software that Nissan uses. And this guy went in and developed it, and it works so exceptionally well, and it helped me tremendously diagnose that thing. But I have software also for Fords so that I can see what's going on with my truck. So here I'm driving around in my big old truck, and I got my laptop over there, and I can see what's going on. They don't give you enough gauges anymore. Like everything's hidden. So
my Mini actually doesn't have a temperature gauge. It's just
I was going to just say that in our Ford Flex, there's no temperature.
Yeah,
and it's like that's crucial to be able to know what your temperature is, and it's not even like there's somewhere in there to mount one.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean ODB2, they're just assuming that anybody who needs to know is going to have an ODB2 reader and know how to use it. Like
yeah, but it's not convenient. You know, I mean, I know there are ones that you can buy that are like really nice displays and stuff, but where do you mount that? And then you know you got cables going down to that port, and you know it's not the greatest situation, but so I don't know. But you know, like with the OBD2, it's nice to be able to see, because you know, like most people probably don't know, but most engines have two temperature senders: the one that goes to the gauge that you get to see, and the one that actually goes to the ECU. So you could be having temperature problems and not even know you're having temperature problems, and it could be like the sensor that feeds the ECU has gone bad, and the ECU thinks that it's hot or cold when it's not. You know, so it's nice to be able to see all of that. But
you probably want to go back to where you had the manual choke. You had to pull the choke lever.
Yeah, you got to pull the choke out. Yeah,
get out and start cranking it.
Yeah, well, I didn't go that far back. God, Mitch. I want to go back to the days where you get in and you push the gas pedal once to the floor and let off, and that sets the choke, and you crank it up, and your headlight switch is a big thing on the floor, a big button that you stomp on the floor to get your bright lights on. So
Yeah, I'm looking at like it's actually a premium now to get a car that doesn't have any of the electronic features. Like, I mean, and then to get one that isn't a rust bucket, that's the problem, is getting an old car that you enjoy that isn't like, everything's rotten on it. And then fully restored cars obviously are going to be expensive.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, that's the place to go to find them not all rusted out. But well, I mean, I still have a 1976 Corvette Stingray that needs to go to somebody else.
I'll take it.
I'd gladly make it yours for the right amount of money.
1 Dogecoin.
1
2
Bitcoin.
Dogecoin.
0.12 of a Bitcoin.
I do want to buy a car with like cryptocurrency one day, just to try it. Like,
I have a feeling that will be a very common thing in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the older Corvettes are pretty awesome. I all the Chevy stuff you can pretty much get at any auto store.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well, I mean, generally you can just make it out of a puddle of scrap metal. You can just make what you need.
You can find 350s in like an AutoZone. You can just get a whole crate engine basically.
Yeah,
not really, but
they keep them in stock too. You don't have to order it; it's just there. You just go and pick it up.
They just have a crate engine in their back stock. Yeah. I mean, I know like about jegs because my dad and I built a Shelby Cobra, like a 60 the kit car,
right?
A local kit car, not a factory 5, but yeah, he put a 302 from a wrecked 5.0 Mustang and T5 transmission, all that stuff, and it's fiberglass body, steel chassis, but he had to pretty much like rebuild the whole thing, and he found a local machinist that could like bore out the pistons and stuff like that. So I learned a lot of really cool stuff from that like experience. But like that's as old school as I've gotten, like working on cars was, where you didn't actually have them, carburetors were, how magical those are. Like carburetors are crazy. I mean, I didn't realize how.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts inside of a carburetor that have to be just right, and then like you're physically changing out jets and things to change your fuel supply. As where now you just tell the computer, all right, give me more fuel, or you put in bigger fuel injectors. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's for fuel efficiency. Technically, ECU would be better.
Well, it's for emissions more than anything.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's not running lean at all or rich. Yeah, but I mean, a well-tuned carburetor shouldn't run lean or rich, right? I mean,
well, it shouldn't. But the other thing too, I mean, if you think back to the carburetor days, barometric pressure in the weather changes your fuel flow, but yet the carburetor doesn't compensate for that. Fuel injection does. The computer knows exactly how much air is coming into that car and what the density of that air is. Between the mass airflow sensor metering it coming in and your O2 sensors meter it going out, which is what the problem was with the Maxima. The vacuum leak itself, the car knew that it was bringing in X amount of air, but it was burning through Y amount of air. And it was like, oh, we got to add more fuel. So my fuel mileage was in the toilet. But now it's all well. That car is ridiculously fast for what it is, by the way. I just want to make that perfectly clear.
It's a 3.5 liter V6. That's a huge car.
265 horsepower in a 4-door grocery getter. I mean,
and that's restricted too, because probably for emissions. I bet you could get that to like 300 or 400 if you
probably.
Yeah,
I figured that car would be so much fun turbocharged, but it would really need to be all-wheel drive at that point.
Oh yeah.
My 92 Eagle Talon, which is a 2-liter 4-cylinder, which I couldn't even tell you how much horsepower it's laying down. I've never had it on a dyno. That car is like super ridiculously fast, but it was built to be that way. And this car, just as a get in and go take the kids to school, it's so stupid fast.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to drive. It's so much, and it's Xander's. It's going to be Xander's first car.
You need to put a radar detector at least, or a limiter.
I was going to put restrictor plates in it when I had the intake off.
I don't know. I had a Ford Probe when I was like my first car was a '93 Ford Probe, not the GT, but it was such a beater car. Like I had we went to the junkyard and got a replacement door because it was all bashed in, and it was a red car with a green door and a blue mirror.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, that's what a first car is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Xander's kind of lucking out because I needed something to drive because my truck is acting up. It's still acting up, by the way. But you're supposed to have a beater as your first car because you're gonna wreck it. You're gonna ding it up, and you're gonna do dumb stuff. You know, you're gonna be out doing power slides on dirt roads. You know.
Oh, you're giving them permission to do that?
No, but I was 16 once, and I did all that stupid stuff.
Yeah, I was running over curbs more than I care to admit when I was 16. So. I mean, I still do, but at least like now it actually hurts. Back then, it was such a bad suspension I could just go over a curb like nothing ever happened. Nowadays, with a Mini, like that would basically destroy the whole frame. Yeah, the Mini Cooper is not like a completely different car from what I've always driven. It's like the most sporty thing I've ever had, really. And that's why I'm like looking at. I'm like, oh man, it would be so cool to get a Miata, with the standard transmission, the 2-liter.
Oh no.
Like, but those are like $10,000. Like they're going for so much money now.
You get a Miata and you put an LS V8 in it.
Yeah, and then you go run it off a bridge accidentally. Yeah, no thanks. I'd rather do something like a rotary or like. I really just want to do an electric conversion, like an EV conversion would be my favorite.
Well, and I don't know if it was
so much fun.
I can't remember if it was Chevy or Ford was supposed to be coming out with a conversion kit for their pickup trucks to be able to just
like a crate engine, yeah.
Yeah, like a crate electric engine.
Yeah, which, I mean, it costs as much as a Tesla to do that, though. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it's going to get cheaper, but I mean, you think about if Chevrolet was to release an e-motor to replace the Chevy 350, think about how many things you could bolt that into.
Oh yeah, I mean they're already doing it, but yeah, it's such a niche thing.
But I mean, like here is a motor that is the 350, and then think about how many things have the 350 in them. And how many LS swap kits you can get. You would then be able to use an LS swap kit and put an electric motor in just about anything. That would be a beautiful Miata right there.
Yeah. I mean, most of the EV conversions are the ones that use the standard, a Volkswagen, transaxle setup.
Right. Yeah, but those are getting hard to come by.
Yeah. Volkswagens? Yeah. I wish my dad didn't sold his Carmen Ghia because the Carmen Ghia was such a cool car, but it had rust problem. Like pretty much have to rebuild all the body panels.
Yeah,
like
all of them have rust problems.
It's crazy.
I think they had rust problems when they were brand new.
Yeah, I've been watching the Project Binky, the Mini Cooper. It's like a 4-wheel drive Toyota engine, turbocharged Toyota engine that they're putting in a classic Mini Cooper.
Nice.
Like an Austin Mini.
No, it's a Honda engine.
No, it's Toyota.
Is it? Oh, it must not be the one I'm thinking of.
But it's a massive turbo. It has like the 4-wheel drive setup, and they pretty much redid
that's not the one I'm thinking of.
A lot of the chassis, but
I seen one where somebody did a Honda VTEC.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
Mini Cooper.
Yeah, but those they usually pretty much just use the shell of the Mini Cooper chassis. These guys are actually like modifying the actual chassis to work with it. Like it's crazy because they're fitting it. I mean, those are small cars. Those are really small cars, even smaller than the BMW one like I have. And man, that would be cool. It would be cool to do one of those. Like I think it's cool, but I've looked at restored ones and they're as much as a new car, so it's not even
absolutely
like even to get it going in good condition.
Lars said, have a thought on how people will talk about old electric cars in 50 to 70 years' time.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, I wish we could go back to those electric cars instead of these nuclear-powered ones.
Well, it's like retro computing, right? I mean, it's like, what's the three things that can go wrong with retro computers is usually the batteries corrode or go bad, and then the capacitors built into them. Like, other than that, like, a lot of the stuff still works. Maybe some of the plastic stuff degrades, but I mean, it's going to be the same with electric cars. The only thing that's actually degradable as the batteries and the
Well, and
capacitors
they're
and stuff.
so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, like even just regular car batteries for what they are so expensive.
Oh, that's because of lead. That's just lead in
Yeah.
general. But lithium batteries are insane. I mean, they're better than they used to be. They're obviously exponentially better than they used to be. I mean, the BattleBots ones, I think I already said, but just the cost of batteries for the BattleBot was $1,200 for the batteries.
Wow. Yeah.
And because they're super high current, like they can handle like hundreds of amps, thousands of amps coming out of them. But yeah, like if I was to get a bunch of
that is absolutely remarkable to people put that kind of amperage out of a battery.
Yeah, I mean, but then like I think what's his name, Jay Garcia or something. He's made EV conversions using like used laptop 18650s. So like you could definitely get 18650 batteries and power a car with it. You just have to do it right. I mean, with the battery management and stuff. Like that would be fun to just kind of like
light things on fire.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, that's the thing. Like lithium batteries, the way they have lithium battery, there's always like one or two Teslas that have caught on fire. And
every day.
And like I've been looking at like the Chevy Bolt, used Chevy Bolt, and those are under recall because of that. And so they have to basically artificially limit the range to not overcharge the batteries. And so I can't even like I looked on Carvana and you can't even get the Chevy Bolt because of that, because of the recall. Like, and then like the only ones that are like available that are reasonable are like Nissan Leafs, but they only have like 100-mile range, so they're not really practical in DFW.
Yeah, I think that's what my cousin Troy had was a Nissan Leaf.
They're great cars. I think they're awesome, but they're not temperature controlled batteries, so the temperature, the range varies depending on temperature and stuff. So
yeah,
I imagine like in Canada, I'm sure like
cooler temperature, you go further.
Yeah, no less.
Oh, really?
Cold. Yeah, they deteriorate the batteries when it's cold, so they have to have like heaters and cycle through. I think the Teslas are liquid cooled, and I think the Chevy Volt and the Chevy Bolt are both like liquid cooled batteries, I think, or temperature climate controlled batteries or something like that. But I imagine if you're in the winter and you're charging the car, that it would be heating the batteries as well. But like once it's cold and you've been parking in the parking lot, I would imagine the range degrades and stuff. But yeah, I have a friend that moved to Montreal, and she took her Nissan Leaf with her, and she said that the range has deteriorated as well.
Wow.
But like I don't know. Like I think it's also the infrastructure. I wish we would improve the infrastructure, but it's kind of a chicken and egg problem. Is like selling more EVs versus companies paying to have chargers in their parking lot. Like the closest one I have is at City Hall, but it's actually supposedly it's only able to be used during City Hall hours. So if I had to walk over there and charge my car, and it's a level 2 charger, so it'd still take a couple of hours to charge.
Our local Wawa. I don't know if it's all the Wawas, but our local Wawa took a section of their parking lot now, and it has all Tesla chargers right in the Wawa parking lot. Mm-hmm. So, like, Zach, for whatever reason, is infatuated with Teslas, and so then we pull in there, and he's like, "Oh, Teslas," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, buddy, that's where they get their fuel."
Yeah, the Teslas are pretty awesome. I mean, I know a couple of people with them, and they're cool. They're just still in the high end, IT budget.
It's because they're technically still paying for all the research and development that everybody else is going to use later.
Yeah. Well, great. Sure. And they're opening up a plant in Austin. I think it'd be awesome I would at least want to visit it just to see like what a Tesla manufacturing plant looks like, because it's just amazing to me to see that.
How far is that from where you are?
Like 3 hours or so.
Okay. I mean,
everything's 3-hour drive in Texas. At least 3 hours. I still could drive 12 hours and still be in Texas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to drive across the street is 45 minutes because everything's bigger in Texas. But
I'm sorry. Do you do or don't mess with Texas? I can never remember.
I think
you only mess with Texas sometimes.
You do not mess with Texas because it will take you 2 days to get out of Texas, and by then they're already kicking your butt.
Yeah. If you mess with Texas, don't tread on me, is what I think it says, right? So, like,
when we took our big RV trip back years ago, we ended up having to camp twice in Texas because that state is so freaking huge. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
last weekend, Caleb, I don't know if you know Caleb Ferris. He's in the community.
Not ringing a bell, but I'm bad with names anyway.
He came by actually because I posted that I was giving away my Pio Poly Moai.
Right.
And, he actually came all the way from Arkansas and picked it up, and we hung out. He's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
He came all the way from Arkansas?
Arkansas.
It's not your Kansas. It's our Kansas. That was really cool of you to do that. Andy asks, can you not just charge electric car from your house mains? Absolutely, but then you're paying for the electricity.
Sure. Okay, so that's another thing is there's a lot of us that live in apartments because we can't afford housing, because housing prices are stupid, that can't charge our cars because most apartment complexes here don't have charging stations.
Well, no, they wouldn't, because then they would have to pay for the electricity for that.
Yeah, or even if you could charge like a prepaid card and use it, I would even appreciate that because it would just be like paying for gas or electricity, which is fine. Even if it was like 15 cents a kilowatt or whatever. It's still the fact that like they have to build the infrastructure. They have to build a 480 or 220 with the right amount of current. And then they have to make parking spots that are dedicated to those. And then people with giant trucks are going to park in the electric charging spots. And it's pretty much in Texas. If you don't have a truck, you don't exist, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like them jerk people who drive gas-powered cars and they block the diesel pump at gas stations.
Terrible.
I'm just saying.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Maybe the guy that drives the big diesel truck thinks about slamming into you because you're an idiot, but it's fine. Continue to block the diesel pump.
I feel like this is something that's happened.
They will build a gas station with 30 pumps and 2 diesel. And somebody will be blocking that diesel pump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, diesel's gotten such a bad rap in the U.S., which is kind of sad.
Well, it was a waste fuel. It was so cheap. It was a waste fuel. And then all of a sudden they came out with that ultra. Now I can't even think of what it's called.
Oh, the uric acid stuff you got to put in there?
Yeah, where it's cleaner, and then all of a sudden the price went jacking up on it.
Stupid greenhouse gases. Always ruining our fun.
Stupid environment.
Global warming.
But no, I like it when people are blocking the diesel pump. I like to roll up really close to them and I just leave my truck sitting idling, blah, 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 just to make the point that you shouldn't be blocking the diesel pump. Yeah. Ultra low sulfur. There you go. Thank you, Vince.
How do you feel when you come in and unless this is what you're talking about, because like I'm assuming because here every diesel pump also has a regular gas pump with it as well.
Some of our stations are that way. Like Wawa is really good about that. Like just about every pump is also diesel.
Usually here it's like 2 pumps will be diesel, but they'll also have regular fuel as well.
Yes, correct.
And so you'll have people with diesel trucks pull up to a gas station that's full, and one or both diesel pumps are being used by people that don't have diesel vehicles, and they get upset about it. And then you'll see comments on Facebook like, the next time I see this, when you go inside, I'm going to key your car because you're in the diesel spot and I need diesel. But like all these cases, like somebody takes a picture and like almost the entire thing's full. But even if it's not, like there's still regular gas. It's not.
Well, no, but if you pull into a gas station with a gas-powered automobile, and there's 30 pumps, and 2 of those are diesel, and the pumps are available, don't take that pump. It's like when you go into the bathroom and you need a stall, don't take the handicap stall if there's other stalls open. Because there's going to be a guy that comes in that needs the handicap stall, and then he can't use it because you wanted to stretch out while you were pooping.
You're gonna at me like that, man.
So like I understand.
No, it's not stretch out. It's the power handle.
What's that?
It's the power handle. What was it on? Larry the Cable Guy. they're talking to him like, why do you keep going into the hand? He's like, oh, you got the power handle in there. He's holding on to the rails for the physical reassurance while he's doing his business.
But no, so like, I mean, if you pull into a super busy station and it's the only pump, yes, by all means, use it. But I just hate when you go, and then I really hate when you get that guy that pulls up to the diesel pump when he's not getting diesel. He's in his little Passat or whatever, that's not diesel, and but then he goes in the store to buy, Snickers bars,
and he doesn't bring you one,
and just leaves the car sitting there. It's like, no. Absolutely not.
Yesterday, I pulled in to get gas, and all the spots are full. So I pulled up behind somebody that I just watched come back out and get into their car, and they sat in their car and texted for like 4 or 5 minutes while I'm sitting there. And I'm like, am I crazy? Because like the windows were also super tinted, and I'm like, am I crazy? Did somebody like not get in it? And then somebody pulled forward just enough that I could see the girl's reflection in their side view mirrors. They're pulling past, and she's just. And I'm like,
oh, I'd have blown my horn at her, but. You're Canadian, so I know.
Yeah.
I just complained about it on my internet show.
Yeah. Okay. You can you don't have to apologize here. It's cool.
And he said over here in the UK, every pump has both petrol and diesel. Some do have diesel only pumps.
But I mean, there's more diesel cars, I think, in Europe and Canada than there are here.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
There's only a few people I know with TDI like Volkswagens.
I love when you get to a station that has like semi-truck pumps, when they're like way out off to the side. And if it's a single one, if it's only one, unless I'm in a super hurry, I generally won't use that in case somebody pulls in a big truck. But otherwise, like if they have multiple bays that are for the bigger trucks, I love those because the nozzle on them's like this big, and I can fill my truck up in half the time. And it's it's just way better. But of course, my truck doesn't run right now anyway, so I don't really drive it all that much.
Yeah, the only cool gas stations are Buc-ee's. Like, have you ever been to a Buc-ee's here?
We just got one.
Nice. Yeah.
We just got one, not here locally. It's in Daytona Beach, which is about an hour or so from here, and I haven't been to it yet. But up in North Florida. There's a station. I want to say it's called the Busy Bee. I might have to Google that. When I went up and bought Daisy, the 1-ton dually that got hit by the excavator.
Is that the one where you told him you were going to drive it home?
Yeah. I found these Busy Bee gas station, or this, if that's what it is. I will find out here momentarily, but of course they're showing it. But like I was actually, it was the day that I was going to pick up that truck, and I needed to grab some fuel, and I pulled into this station, and when I went into it, it was glorious. I mean, they had like the bathrooms were big and very clean, and they had like the whole back wall of this place was beverage coolers. Like they had every drink you could ever imagine in the coolers, which is a huge thing to me. I love, the variety and being able to choose what I want. And, but everything in the store is a bee pun. Like I can't even think of any right now, but so it was driving like, when I got back with the truck, I told the family, I'm like, I got to take you to this gas station. It's amazing. And so we went out sightseeing that night, and we took the kids over there and stuff. And it is the Busy Bee. And so, oh yeah. Okay. So like the beer coolers are the beer hive, like it's all this, and then their billboards are all these bee puns as well. So then like Xander's like, oh my God, I just can't take it anymore. This is so stupid, So then of course, I mean, at the point that Xander admits that something annoys him, we just double down.
Good.
So I would say to him, Busy Bee is actually looking to expand into Central Florida. Won't that be amazing? I'm sorry he's not up here.
You should just tell him he needs to be positive in the future.
Right. He needs to be on board.
I think after the Bee movie, I think bee puns have gotten
They
stale.
peaked and died.
Yeah,
After the B movie, that was like 35 years ago, man.
I think so, wasn't it? Yeah.
So here's a funny thing. There used to be a restaurant that was about halfway between my grandparents' house and their cottage, and it was also called the Busy Bee. And their motto was, "It's a honey of a place to be." And so a chain ended up opening up a like gas station food place with like a Wendy's and a Tim Hortons and stuff nearby, and it drove them out of business, as they do, right?
Right.
And they posted this letter on their door, basically being like, "We've been here for 30 years at this point, and the community chose to support slightly lower prices over supporting local, and as a result, we leave." And it was basically like, "You guys all did this to us. You completely screwed us over. It wasn't thanks for your patronage over the years. It was you ruined us. Thanks a lot."
Wow.
I mean, they're not wrong.
No, but like,
It just sounds like they got stung.
and that's in Canada. I mean, whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they were originally Canadian, so.
The B movie was in 2007, Mitch.
Wow, that was pretty much 35 years ago.
Dragging it up, boy. Whew.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I feel like there was a lull between the early 2000s movies. Like there was like a lot of there was good movies from the early 2000s, but I think there's a lot of more bad movies from 2000s than there was good movies up until basically 2010 on the. But
well, that's just
opinion.
rolling up to 2000. Everybody thought it was the end of the world, so why work on anything? And then it took them 10 years to recover.
And ironically, then the 2012 movie came out. The whatever that one was, John Cusack.
There was all the controversy around that movie when it came out because their commercials didn't make it clear it was a movie, and there was a bunch of people that got freaked out that this was government leaks that the end of the world's coming and they haven't told us.
I think Glenn just saw the end of the world over there.
I just temporarily lost power. That was crazy, and it's not storming here or anything.
What's amazing is the stream is still going, so you must have a UPS or something.
Oh, I have lots of them.
Oh, okay.
I live in Florida. I have UPSs for my UPSs.
Yeah, it actually power went out it was 5 a.m. the other day in my apartment complex, and it just went out for no reason for an hour, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah,
I did warn Glenn because our power was fluctuating this week. Start to get into work 10 minutes after I start working, power goes out. It's gone for a couple minutes, comes back up just long enough for me to get logged back into everything. And so
that's annoying. Yeah, that makes me want to set up power recovery in my Artemis because the Duet has that power. You can set up power recovery, but you have to have custom G code for when to start and end your power recovery modes and stuff. But I haven't set it up because I've never really had that problem yet.
I've got a it's like a 550 VA battery backup that I have that runs it runs all four of these printers.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But I've never been running all four of them when the power went out.
Oh yeah.
But all four of these are plugged into that. And I mean, I've had a few issues where the power dipped and it saved the print. I mean, obviously it's not going to be up for very long.
Yeah.
But it does help with the brownouts or the dips. And then I bought that 1500 VA for the FK1, and instead that ended up going to Xander. So his 650 is going to come to the FK1, and I'm going to split the bed and the regular power supply. So
because you don't need it to power the bed, because the bed will just stay warm.
That bed stays warm for a long time.
Yeah.
That
was a 1/4-inch mic 6, I think.
Yep.
You said. Yeah. Can't wait to see that working.
Oh, it works great. Wave to it.
I mean, for longer than one little benchy.
Do you guys ever see the movie Mystery Men?
Oh, I love Mystery Men. That was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, isn't it more fun to have that mystery, though? I mean, if you get to see it running all the time, then it's like, oh, yeah.
So the Mystery Men reference is there's a guy who's called the Invisible Boy in this the Mystery Man movie, but his superpower only works if absolutely nobody is looking at him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was Kel Mitchell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. That was pretty good.
He was
that
in the
movie had
trailer.
so many famous people in it from the 90s. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller, the guy that plays Frank Gallagher.
William H. Macy.
William H. Macy.
Yeah.
The guy. The guy.
Janine Garofalo. Yeah, and
but so there's a part in the movie where like he's got to like go past these sensors. So he's like, everybody look away, and then like as everybody looks away from him, he goes invisible and his clothes fall off or whatever. He goes turns off the toggles and goes, "I did it, everybody! I'm invisible. Can you see me?" And then they turn around as soon as they look at him, he becomes visible, but he's naked. She's like, "Hey, maybe you want to put on some pants or something if you want to keep fighting crime today." And you just hear one of the guys in the back go, "2 hands there, son."
Yeah. That was definitely a gem of a movie. It had I forgot his name. The singer was in it too. He was like flirting with old ladies at the retirement home. It was, I don't know. I'd watch it again. It's such a good movie.
I made K the other day.
Yeah.
The other day.
That was like, what was that?
Sorry, never mind.
Oh.
That was a Letterkenny reference.
Oh, Letterkenny. Yeah. I haven't watched all those episodes, but I watched quite a bit of them.
How can you not? I start watching them and then I can't stop watching them.
Even the last season, which wasn't great, I still watched it all in a day.
Yeah, the last season so far has been my least favorite. You can tell it's very commercialized, but
I like Little Kenny or whatever the animated one with
the cartoon one,
young versions. Yeah.
Did you see the animated version, Glenn?
I don't think I did.
There's a whole line of animated ones, and like at first I'm like, oh, they're trying to do it for kids. Nope.
No.
It's just showing how they all became friends back in the day.
I'll have to look into that.
It's pretty good.
It's hilarious too because it's them doing the voices for the kid versions. They're talking like this, like they're little kids. Trying to make themselves sound like kids. They didn't even bother to hire different voice actors. To be fair, the stuff that they get them to say, you probably couldn't paste it up to do, I would imagine.
Yeah. Not like that.
I have to mute. I have to really cough.
So with all those fans on that Pi, I've got it overclocked to almost 2.2 gigahertz now. Because I figured might as well push it.
Oh, in the Pi?
Yeah.
Oh, Maker Viking snuck in. I didn't see him slide in there.
Yep.
To be fair.
Now you're just anybody who's seen the show has to do that.
Bleep you, Shorty.
Well, you know, it's really funny because I didn't realize how many times I said that until that show. You know, like I never realized how many times I used that saying. But
to be fair,
so what are you gonna? What do you like besides video games? Like retro emulation, like what do you use your Pi for?
I mean,
I'm assuming that's for James.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's your whole thing. I'm just saying, like
I have Pi's controlling printers. I have used Docker setups and stuff on Pi's, playing around with stuff, doing clustered stuff. But
for IT, like just to check, test it and stuff. I mean, it would be kind of cool to run a simple web server and do IoT stuff. I mean. For me, it's like I would like to learn more about Python and programming and Linux and stuff. I have a VM, but it doesn't work the same. Like a virtual machine with Ubuntu, like doesn't work the same. I'd like to learn how to. I mean, just basic stuff, I guess.
Yeah, when I first got my Pis, I only got them to do Octoprint. That was the thing that got me into it. But then I used a Pi for a project that I still haven't finished because I may go a different direction, but. What I wanted to do was I wanted to have an LED matrix outside during my Christmas display and be able to send messages to it, but ideally wirelessly. And the software that I used to run my Christmas show will allow you to run a Windows command right before the sequence starts. So when the song starts, it'll run a command. So what I did was I used Mosquito and set it up to where it would send over to the Pi, and then the Pi would display whatever the messages were for that particular song. And it worked. It worked well. The problem that I ran into was the matrix that I used was like a P4, and you couldn't see it from the distance that I had it. And then I just never got a larger matrix.
Oh, like the dot pitch of it was too small?
Yeah, it was a P4 dot pitch, and the thing is like 75 feet off of the road.
What do you use to control your Christmas light setup?
It's Lightorama, lightorama.com.
Is that just Windows software that runs, or
it's Windows software? I don't know if they have a Mac version, but it's a Windows software, and then like it includes all of the sequencing editor, and the scheduling, and but it's the probably the number one question I get. But the way that you sequence a song, if you think about an Excel spreadsheet, and every line going down is a controller, a channel. Every controller has 16 channels. So all of those come down, and then going across this way, your columns are time based on the song. It's the beats of the song.
And how granular is the time? Like, I'm assuming the time thing doesn't specifically sync up with, like, the timing thing doesn't reconfigure itself to the song, right? Like, there's
a wizard that you can run, and it gets pretty close. Like, it isn't exactly to every beat of the song. It's just to the time, the music timing of the song. Gotcha. So, and then sometimes, like if there's it's a beat like this, and then maybe there's one instrument that like you can divide the time into two to make it match that. So like you can manually modify the timing afterwards, but then you have to go in and you have to like click, I want this to come on, or I want it to scale up, or
that takes forever.
It takes me about 40 hours to do a 3.5 to 4.5 minute song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it just because it's not intuitive? Like, you think if there'd be better software to do that? Or a wizard or something that would do it?
There's other pieces of software, and people have like found ways to kind of jump through hoops to kind of make it more automated and stuff. But I also program to a level that most people don't. Like most people just like, all right, we're just gonna flash these trees over here, and we're gonna do the like. I mean, I've got 10 little trees across the front of my house that like I do to the piano keys. Not exactly because I don't know music, but like it's way more detailed than most people do. So wow. I mean, it takes me a long time, but the show is just phenomenal. And it's so funny because I use the same songs every year. Like I try to add at least one each year. And I mean, it's been my plans to do them over the summertime too, but I never get to it. So I try to add one song each year. And it's funny because people that know me and know the show will be like, oh, you added new songs this year. It's great. And it's like, nope, same songs that was here last year. Because you only get to see them once a year. And, it's so detailed. And the layout isn't always exactly the same. Like sometimes we move stuff around, and so, but it's fun. And then every time you add something, like, so I have 10 songs and I add a new snowman. I now have to go into all 10 of those and figure out where I want that snowman, like what I want him to do and when. So it gets pretty crazy. So
when are you going to do pyrotechnics?
It's actually completely possible. People have built flame cannons, which look amazing, and I would love to do it.
And your neighbors hate you.
So, well, I have enough property. My yard is big enough that I'm not too close to anybody. And honestly, on that note, I check with my neighbors every year to make sure that everything's still cool. Yeah, because I don't want anybody getting upset. It plays the music out loud. It's not super loud.
Oh, you don't have it on the radio?
And then, I broadcast over radio as well. So that way, if the people are sitting across the street in their car, they can just tune to my radio station. Yeah,
the ones in the Dallas area I've seen are pretty cool. Like, you could just tell the whole family goes all out to like do this every year, and it's just.
I would like to say the same, but.
Yeah. It's fun, but they're so you have to know about it through other people, or it's like some of them have websites to like kind of explain the whole process.
Right.
which
Well,
is
I
cool.
mean, like, a lot of people have their own personal websites. There are websites out there, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but there are websites out there like a registry where you can
To find
register
one.
your Christmas
Yeah.
light show, and so. But no, word of mouth is pretty good, and then we have just like where I live. There's a road that goes all the way around. Like there's a big square like this that comes around, and the people that live directly in the opposite end over this way. They do a big display. They're a company, but they have a farm over there, and they put on different events all year long at that farm, and you can rent it for doing weddings and that kind of stuff. But they put on a big Christmas shindig and do hay rides and all that. So pretty much, if you're going there, you almost always end up driving around here anyway. So.
And then you got to do it where you have like a whole drive-through thing if you have enough land. You just drive through with animatronics and like a whole story.
Yeah, no, I don't want to make driving
waterfall. Basically, make
No.
your own Disney resort and
It's gonna
in your
become Five Nights
backyard.
at Friends.
Yeah. No, but like the 13th, December 13th every year, we have live Santa here, and we let the kids come up and see Santa. And most years we've been doing like cookies and hot chocolate. We didn't last year, because of the COVIDs. But I mean, we still had Santa here, and then we were like handing out masks to people as they were coming up. Can't get Santa sick. Can't get Santa sick.
Were you Santa?
No,
Oh,
we get Santa.
we
get
the Santa. Oh, not a clone.
So cheap
No.
substitutions here.
Okay.
No, it's all
Careful,
on
you
the
sleep
up
when
and
you're
up,
sleeping.
man.
Yeah. Santa's a busy guy.
That's right. Not for me though. He's willing
Ever
to
since he
show up
ran
for
over
me.
my grandmother.
What's
Ever since he ran over my grandmother.
that? Mark said, except for the garage, that one lady's still upset you didn't take it back down and move it to the other side of the street. Oh, she's probably dead by now.
That took
Wow.
Is that a little harsh?
to be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
No, the main neighbors that I mean, my direct next door neighbor, I mean, he's like super cool and we're like besties. He just got over the COVID. Thought he was going to die. I mean, they thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
But no, the neighbor directly across the street, which the guy that owns the property across the street, his house is actually over and kind of down a hill. Directly across the street from me is just a field where his sheep live. But the music plays in that direction. So I always make sure that I check with him. And he assures me every year that it is not a problem. So.
And then he randomly comes over and pops your inflatables.
Yeah, I don't have inflatables. I don't believe in them.
Nah, they're not.
Oh, they
They're,
exist. I guarantee it.
They look like crap during the day. They look like Santa threw up on your lawn.
yeah,
So
they're not that good.
I'll let Kayleen know that's how you feel about them. She's very excited to get an inflatable for this year.
well, that's sad, and you should buy her much nicer things.
I mean,
So here's the catch with inflatables. What happens if you unplug them?
they go flat.
And what happens if you plug it in and unplug it and plug it in and unplug it and plug it in and unplug it and plug it in and unplug it? It goes
The pumps
flat.
burn out. Oh, that too. Yeah.
It
So
goes what?
you can't have an inflatable dance to the music.
Oh, that's fair.
Because
Well, you could have the wacky inflatable too, man.
the wacky waving arm inflatable too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So inflatables are absolutely out of the question. The only inflatable I've ever seen that I really, really wanted was this reindeer that was massively huge and furry. I'm like, I totally want that, but inflatables just don't work.
And usually they're lit from the inside, so they kind of look like just lit vinyl. Like it's not.
Pretty much that's exactly what it is, yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's some people who do the Christmas shows, and what they do is they hack into them and they wire up the fan to run continuous and then only flash the lights on and off. But
Mm-hmm.
That sounds reasonable. So
yeah,
I can see why you're not going to do it.
it just doesn't work for me. So
No.
I'm all about as many lights.
Full
as
blown
I can get.
animatronics with like, yeah, you got to do full animatronics if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's more lights the better. My big mega tree is 8,000 LEDs. So,
That's crazy.
and I was actually going to double it this year. I was going to double the strings because they're multicolor. I was going to double them in white so I could light the whole tree in white as well, just like kind of a big flash. And then I figured out it was $1,200 worth of LEDs, and I went,
That's crazy.
no, not going to do it. Maybe next year.
I mean, LEDs have basically changed the game with the animated houses because they can finally run, a whole house, the whole yard without like the power bill going crazy.
Well, not only that,
burning.
but I mean, just having the amperage to run incandescent bulbs. When I built the house, I was planning for it, and I have 200 amps specifically for Christmas lights.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's okay. So in fairness, what I have is a 400 amp service. 200 amps runs the house, and the other 200 amps runs the outside of the house and the detached garage. So at Christmas time, the Christmas lights would be leeching off of the big garage, and then I
just lost sound because I launched something on my side. So
what?
Let's see.
He lost sound.
Okay, now it's back. It's my fault though.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I wanted to be able to run, like the microwave or the heater or whatever while the Christmas lights were on. So I have more than enough power for LED. The other upside to LED is the controllers themselves can only handle a maximum of, they'll handle a maximum of 40 amps, 20 amps per half. So 8 channels get 40 and 8. If you plug it into 2 separate 20 amp outlets, obviously you're not going to get 40 amps out of one outlet on your house. And most houses are only 15 amp.
Wait, they're all AC LED strips?
Yes, yeah, they're just regular. You just
they're not running like a 5-volt. Okay.
No, you just go buy the ones Home Depot off the shelf, plug them in. What you do have to make sure though is they're not the delayed kind. There's kinds that run through the AC adapters, which I think I had one laying here, but like you'll plug them in and there'll be like a second delay before it kicks on. That will completely screw up your light show. You have to then work that timing into to make it right. So
I can't believe they run all AC. I guess it makes sense, but like I would think they would switch to like 5-volt, like programmable, adjustable LEDs.
Well, okay, so there's some of those as well.
Yeah.
So this year I added 8 arches that are made out of RGB LED pixels, and those are 300 channels a piece. Yeah, 300 channels a piece. So because you have 3, it's 100 bulbs, but you have 3 colors.
Oh, so man!
You can light them in any color that you want in any sequence you want.
So it gets complicated.
Oh, it gets crazy. So I mean, what I did was I just kind of sat down. I had a set of them up here, and I sat with the computer and I played, and I said, okay, well, I can make it do this, and I can make it do that. And then I saved all of those, and I cut and pasted them in where I want them elsewhere, because it does get nuts. So, but it's fun. It's fun to be able to light up. And I mean, if you Google it, there's houses out there that are only covered in RGB. And so they can light the house solid colors and stuff.
That's crazy, yeah.
But I like my show the way it is. I don't think I would ever convert over to all just RGB. And I almost did it. Like we had to buy new icicle lights for the house this year, and I was going to buy the RGB ones. And then after we bought the regular ones, I decided that I was glad that we just stuck with those. So.
Yeah, it gets hard to maintain. That's.
Well,
we could just do a whole show about your Christmas lights, but in the middle of the summer, spring.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I work on it all year long. Like there'll be different projects that I need to do. I mean, I got some troubleshooting that I have sitting there ready to go, and if it wasn't for running 2 YouTube channels,
it's a full-time job on top of your full-time job.
Yeah, well, that's it, and I'm hoping that it becomes a full-time job enough where I don't need my full-time job.
Yeah, well, we need to get more famous people than me on here.
No, I wasn't talking about this channel. I was talking about the other one.
Oh, okay.
I don't ever foresee this channel being the one that takes me to the top. 3D printing community is a very difficult community.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Well, no, it's not that. It's a very niche group. So
yeah, it is.
It's big, but it isn't big. And you always fight for just a chunk of that audience, so.
And we're all really collaborative to begin with. Like, we're all trying to help each other out anyway. It's not like
Right.
we're
Always,
competing for viewership most of the time because we enjoy what we do. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, until you start doing like Raid Shadow Legends ad spots or something, I don't think you're going to be making enough to do this full time.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of tough.
So what I'm saying is to all you watching, it's your fault. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I got free advertisement already. Let's see. I got my Raycon earbuds on my NordVPN. Let's see. I just canceled Squarespace because that was too expensive. Unless you use a website to actually like promote your stuff, like it's not worth paying for web hosting for that much. Like
right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm still looking for like a way to just do a single page. I just want to do a single page host. I'm thinking about just using Linktree instead of having an actual website.
I use Hawk. No. Yeah, Hawk Host. And it's like $2.50 a month. It's like super cheap. Now you don't have all kinds of like fancy tools to build your website and stuff. You get cPanel for administration, and you can install like WordPress and stuff through there.
Yeah, I've done that before.
But it's like
WordPress ends up becoming a pain because you have to constantly update, and it's just not as intuitive.
I just set it to auto update, and then I don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, do that too.
And he's asking when or any idea on when the next garage show is going to be. Okay, so for anybody that didn't hear, we have decided to take Fun King Garage in a different direction. We're going to be doing crocheting and knitting now. We have the opportunity. I was going to say the opportunity of a lifetime. That's probably not really true, but we have a commissioned job. And so we've decided to kind of film it differently and run it differently. So it is taking us a little time to get adjusting, and we have to buy some new equipment. Like we have to have some more cameras in the garage. But it is going to happen very soon. Yeah. So I've been working on all of the back end stuff. Too. What's that?
Sean looks pretty busy with his knife stuff. He's been
he's trying to make a living. That's his income right now.
His landlord is like really strict on stuff. So.
Terrible.
I am terribly mean. I told him if he doesn't get a job, I was going to double his rent. I'm trying to do everything I can to help him out. We just went and got a sandblast cabinet yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So that he can start doing Cerakoting. So I've wanted one for a while, and I didn't really have any intention on buying one yesterday, but Harbor Freight had one that was open box and saved us like $40. So
if it's an open box, how does it keep the sand in?
Dun, 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 dun. I'm always like really kind of leery on buying open stuff from anywhere, but mainly from Harbor Freight. But it wasn't molested. Like we put the whole thing together, and it's typical Harbor Freight junk. But it was $150 instead of the $1,100 for the one I wanted. So that at least gets us, and that was a necessity as well. I mean, not only just for Sean's knife making, but also what we're about to be doing with Fun King Garage. So it's technically a business expense if the business had any money.
I can't wait till you can get to like the Hoovies garage or like Tavares, where you're like, I bought the cheapest Lamborghini in the country or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that we're really out of time. Is anybody on a crunch? Do you guys like?
I can stick around for a couple more minutes.
But... Okay. So give me just like 5 minutes to. I'm going to count this as a rant. I don't think I've ranted yet.
Is this Pooch's rant, but like Glenn's rant version?
Yeah. It's what really grinds my gears. No. So. There are, and I don't even know if I want to mention names, but there are 2 YouTubers out there that I occasionally watch their stuff, and both of them happen to be Floridians. So I absolutely have the potential of possibly doing some type of collaboration with them in the future. Now, these two YouTubers know other YouTubers that I follow that I enjoy quite a bit. Okay, so here's this weird circle. But both of these particular YouTubers are worth a lot of money. 2.5 million and 4 million is the net worth on these two.
Oh wow!
And both of them, as of late, and we'll say as of late in the last year, like really the only videos they make is look at this expensive thing that I bought. And people are eating it up, and I don't get it. I mean,
well, you'd have to have something expensive that you bought to show off to be able to get it.
But maybe that's what it is. Like I'm an average human being. I have a family, and I have 2 kids that like to eat food. So it's like on my YouTube channel, I'm like, look at this $350 bill from Sam's Club where I just went and bought food for my children. And they're out there, and I'm not even going to say what they bought, but they're out there like, I bought this expensive automobile, and they're getting tons of views on that, and I can't wrap my head around that. So I mean, and then people give them things like crazy expensive things when they already have the money and could buy those things. It's like, no, give those things to the poor people.
I like Aging Wheels. He does like the Trabants and like Reliant Robin and all these like quirky like vehicles. I like his channel a lot.
Well,
he does
I
really
will tell you what we have up and coming, and I can't let the cat out of the bag. That's not what I have up and coming. I don't have a cat in the bag. But what I have up and coming is very possibly the first time it's ever been done in a series. Like,
it's been done in parallel, but never a series.
Well, it's been done in life, but nobody's ever tried to make a TV show out of it.
What's TV?
I probably shouldn't have said TV. I mean a YouTube show.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a secret. We're shooting for TV, darn it. But I mean, who isn't when you're on YouTube?
It looks good. I mean, it looks like a TV show.
Yeah. Well, the new format's not going to look like that for 2 reasons. One, that's entirely too cinematic. It's a lot of work on Sean to make the editing look like that. But it will have a very, very comfortable television feel. And then what we've decided to do is, unfortunately for all the poor people, you don't get to see it, but Patreon supporters and YouTube members, when we finally get to that point, are going to get a lot of additional content. That's where I'll be throwing wrenches and dropping the F-bombs. But, so there'll be a little bit more that way. And then we're even playing with possibly having more than one series within the channel. Just like a TV channels don't play only one show. They have a whole bunch of shows. We're kind of playing with that as well. So Mark said, could you be up for a Cerakote job that you could do for the garage show? I've got an exhaust manifold that needs to be done. We can actually talk about that because I got a guy that can do Cerakote. So, but yeah, I just wanted to rant a little bit on YouTubers that make big money by buying expensive stuff. I can't wrap my head around it. Is that Mitch's mom?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
This is for Mother's Day.
Mitch's mom, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
It's like you just made her magically appear. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Poof.
Everybody say hello and happy Mother's Day, Mitch's
Happy
mom.
Mother's Day.
I can't come
Happy
on. I
Mother's
haven't washed my hair.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I haven't washed mine either. Maybe this part right here.
Well, thank you for the Mother's Day. Are you guys having fun?
Oh yeah, every week it's fun.
Yeah.
always a party.
What are you talking about?
Oh, just a little bit of everything. This show doesn't really have any bounds. It just kind of runs off the rail all the time. The main thing that we do is 3D printing, but
Okay.
But this particular show, we just kind of cover all the different projects that we're working on. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's always. Did he tell you about the buckles that he 3D printed for my sister-in-law?
No,
Oh,
I don't
no.
think we got that story.
So that $100 resin printer I got on Amazon, which you can't buy anymore, unfortunately. It came with 250 milliliters of resin, and my aunt, I guess, would be considered my aunt. She makes kind of like fidget toys for patients with Alzheimer's. So they have something kind of physical to play with, and one of the things is putting a buckle on a strap. And so she couldn't find buckles for like less than like $2 at the dollar store or something like that, right?
Mhm.
And so it was easier and cheaper that I can make custom ones that would be big enough and nice. I could make them in Fusion 360 and print them in resin, and it only took like a couple hours per. So I had to do like a whole production line, and I actually ended up getting a wash and cure unit so that I could do like production runs of it
That
and
is
stuff.
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll need more of it,
Oh, I'm
sure she'll need
so
more of
it's
it.
not a wasted purchase.
Yeah, but I made them on I made them on my Delta printer, but they're kind of rough, and because
Right.
I need like the curvature of it. But I was able to do it on the resin printer, and even with the supports, and I could just break away the supports, and I didn't have to do any cleanup. Like it was just smooth enough that it worked. So
She
Yeah.
gets them on like a knit, like a dog collar thing, and she gets a placemat, and she sews all these different things like buttons and zippers and all kinds of things that they can, because they always are moving around and
Yeah.
fidgeting with things, and she has this bubble wrap stuff that it's not bubbles.
it's made out of silicone, like it's like
Yeah.
indents
It goes
and
in
silicone.
and back.
Like a
out
popper, a rubber popper.
Yeah. It crinkle kind of noise.
That is
And
brilliant.
so
I
she
wonder
does
if
all
would-
that, and she volunteers her time and her own money to make these things because her mother passed away from Alzheimer's, so she's giving back.
Well, I wonder if that would work for kids on the spectrum too.
Yeah, so that's actually what they
Yes,
sell them
yeah.
for, is for ADD and autism and stuff.
You mean the whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
activity board?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it would. I
Yeah.
do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I remember fidget spinners were real popular. I have the original
Mhm.
fidget cube that was from.
I wish they would have had those when you were in grade school.
Oh, I know.
That'd
I
been
clicked
great.
so many pins, and I tapped on every desk that you could tap on.
Yeah.
I still do it, but
I know a doctor who she actually writes prescriptions for things for kids on the spectrum that have focusing issues,
Right.
and in some school, like the public schools, they can mandate these things, but in the private schools they have to have a prescription because the private schools don't have to do anything.
Right.
But if the parent fights hard enough, they can get it done, right?
yeah.
But anyway, so she writes a prescription for listening to Mozart on headphones,
Okay.
because the music from Mozart is 60 counts a minute, like the heartbeat, and it helps them focus on times when they are reading or taking a test. And
Interesting.
then the fidgeting stuff is when they actually, even a koosh ball or
As I'm
anything
fidgeting
like that.
right now with stuff.
Yeah, a koosh ball
Yeah,
is what I
we all
think
do
they
it.
did back when you were young.
Yeah, like a
Is
ball.
for
Back when you were young.
focusing during.
Yeah. Long time ago.
I'm trying to make
5 years
him like
ago.
he's my little baby, but
Yeah.
he's a man when he's with you guys.
You can tell all the embarrassing story. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, that's
okay.
actually what I was going to say, because we have to wrap up, but we would like one quick embarrassing Mitch story.
Oh, God.
I
Where
got
do you-
lots of
where do you
those.
start?
I got
No.
lots. I'll tell the towel story.
This is a family safe channel.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to be family friendly.
No, it's not an embarrassing. It's
Okay.
embarrassing, yeah,
Okay.
but family safe. We went to
What's that?
Corpus Christi,
Yeah.
I think, and we were staying in a motel, and it was just him and I, and he went in to take a shower, and when he came out, he had a towel wrapped around his hair, and you know how you do, like you fold it over. Okay. Anyway, he's talking to me, and his head's leaning kind of to one side while he's talking, and I said, "Why is your head leaning to one side?" He goes, "Well, this towel is really heavy." And I looked at it, and it was like the floor mat that you use in a hotel. You use for a towel. And I'm being really nice picking that story.
Yeah.
I bet.
She has a lot of ammo to unload on that one.
Yeah, that one came to my mind first. But yeah,
Well,
thank
that's
you for
awesome.
letting me share that. That
Oh,
feels good.
they want you on the next show.
Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, they said you could be on the next show. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll just invite you to come back, and we'll leave Mitch out of it.
Yeah.
You
You could talk about 3D printing and cars.
Yeah, I probably know a lot about 3D printing just from listening to him talk and talk and talk about it.
I haven't been to every convention ever made and tell you all about it. And
I'm looking for my own YouTube channel, and I thought it was going to be card making because I do card stamping and stuff like that. But hey, if it's this and I can get famous for it, I'm all there.
Yeah, you could be as famous as us and
as all YouTube. 3 of you.
Yeah, like you could have at least tens of people watching.
Tens of people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we have tens of people watching right now.
Cool. Well, thank you. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Thanks again.
Thank you. Happy Mother's
See you later.
Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we do have to wrap up for the day because I got a line of people waiting behind me for internet.
Is it just one guy?
Huh?
Is it just one guy with broken?
Yeah, it's just one guy. But
You're just gonna play Minecraft or something. Whatever.
It is what it is.
Oh.
So, you guys got anything that you want to plug on the way out?
No, just keep an eye on the channel for the video on my Gamer Pie, whatever I'm gonna call it.
And you just went gray for
the
some
video
reason.
went gray.
But yeah, that
I've been
thing
having
is.
computer issues actually this entire time. I've been fighting against it from the command line. I don't know. This computer's being finicky.
Well, that pie case is absolutely brilliant, James.
It is pretty cool.
It is very, very cool, and I might have to build one of those.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe I should build one of those and turn it into my garage PC. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It would get more airtime than it would here. I don't really have anything to plug. Mitch, it was really a pleasure having you on with us again.
Yeah, I'm trying to do Twitch streams. I'm going to try to do more VR based Twitch streams because I think that's kind of cool. So I play Beat Saber and
well, your VR set probably works.
Yeah, no, it's a Quest 1 and not a Quest 2 or whatever you have.
Can Xander hear us right now?
Yeah, he's here in the room.
Ask him if he wants to stream Beat Saber tonight. That would be fun.
Yeah, we'll play. Yeah.
He said he hates you guys so much.
Yeah.
You should say that to my face. You should use VR for that.
Yeah.
He'd say it to your face.
Tell it to my avatar.
Broken. He's just a big gray box.
I hate you.
No, he was back for a second, but now he's gone.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, I don't really have anything to plug other than Fun King Garage, of course, because that is my new love and passion. I think that you can go to my Patreon. I think I got some stuff posted over there that you can read. You don't even have to be a member. You can just read it. But of course, support is always appreciated. Buy Dogecoin. It's the future. Do it.
Buy Dogecoin so that my value goes up.
That's exactly why I was telling people to buy it. Don't ever invest any money that you can't afford to lose. Do not do something stupid and like take a loan to go buy any type of cryptocurrency. Gamble safely because that's exactly what it is. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-YOU-BET. No, that's not really the number. But, get some help. I guess James is just gone. He's not even
enough to buy Dogecoin.
He's not even in the green room at this point. But I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for watching, because without you guys, these streams would be absolutely useless. And we enjoy you guys being here. The conversations are always good. Yeah, James just sent me a Twitter, and he said things died pretty hard here. So I'm hoping he just means the computer and not anything else. So, yeah, definitely thank your mom for us. That was awesome. That was awesome, Mitch. So thank you guys. We will definitely see you next week. I don't think that we have anything going on, so there shouldn't be a problem with the stream being here. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, as always, print on.